I'll never forget being so completely scared and realizing just how powerful a man can be when you know, they just have so much more strength, and just how what a scary position that is. I'm going to talk about something that is kind of personal, but I feel like it needs to be talked about. So, um, hopefully it'll help somebody out there. And if you get uncomfortable, you can just go ahead and turn it off. So I just got back from speaking at an event. And first of all, I want to thank you so much for being here. You know, your time is so important. And so the fact that you spend it with me just means more than anything. So thank you so much for that. But I just got back speaking at an event, and you know, it was an event that I was really excited about. I've been preparing for it for about 6 months, knowing that I was going to go there. Funny enough, I thought it was virtual and found out a week and a half beforehand that it wasn't virtual, and I had to actually go in person. It was about a 5.5, 6 hour flight each way. So I ended up going, but I've been doing a lot of mindset training around the event, like visualizing myself if they're succeeding, just knowing that, you know, it was going to turn out really, really well. I hired a speaking coach to sort of help me with my speaking patterns, trying to slow down a little bit, trying to pause more. And so I've been really utilizing visualization and the power of positive thinking, because I absolutely believe and know that what you think is, right? Your thoughts become your reality. And there's so much research about visualization and really creating the life that you want by seeing it, because our brains, they don't know the difference. Our reticular activating system does not know the difference between when we're actually doing something and when we're thinking about it. In fact, if you do some research on it, so many different sporting events, like for example, they will they'll put, when someone's teaching someone how to golf, they spend so much more of the time actually having them visualize them taking the shot, visualize themselves getting in there, even than they do actually golfing. Like, they spend just as much time actually thinking about it and performing it in their brains as they do doing it out on the green. So that's just, you know, kind of amazing to think about. And also, there's so many different athletes and just top world performers that will visualize themselves doing what they're doing before ever doing it. That's a huge part of their practice and of their coaching, is visualization. So I spent so much time visualizing myself on stage, and I was really, really excited. It was great because my husband was there. And, you know, funny enough is that he doesn't always go with me, and I don't really travel very much. I'm hoping to start doing it more, obviously, because I want to start speaking more. But it's when I leave without him, I miss him, and I always get a little kind of sad in the airport, and I kind of like call him from the airport like, oh, I already missed you, I'm sad. But anyways, he ended up coming, and I told him this past week, I said, from now on, babe, if I tell you not to come, I'm only saying that because I don't want to bother you, and I don't want to, you know, I don't want to inconvenience you, but I really, really always want you to come. So he's going to start always coming with me, which is great. But uh, my point is about 11 years ago, I was actually attacked. I was at a conference, and you know, and this is something that I haven't really told very many people. I've told the girl that was with me at the conference, and I didn't even tell my husband about this until about a year ago, because I was afraid. I don't know. I just kind of felt like part of it was maybe my fault, or people would think that. And so I didn't really tell anybody about it. I was embarrassed that I kind of let myself get in that situation, because I'm just very trusting, and I didn't think it would happen. So basically, I was at a conference, and I had been getting business from an asset management company, from one of the owners of an asset management company. And we were in the lobby, and we were getting ready to go out to dinner. And he's like, oh, come back to the room with me. I just want to, I got to grab something really quickly. And so I, oh, no problem. So we're talking about business the whole time. I didn't think anything of it, of course. And we get into his room, and now I know some of you are probably thinking, well, you're stupid for going into his room. You shouldn't have done that. But when your brain isn't at all thinking that way, and you've developed a relationship with somebody that you trust to be a friend, and somebody who's a coworker that, you know, you think that, you know, I didn't even think twice about it. It was just so innocent. It was just business. And so we get into the room, and before I know it, I'm literally just being attacked. This person's on me, and it's like, I just can still remember this disgusting sweat and the heaviness, and just, it was horrible. And I remember thinking, oh my gosh, I'm going to be raped right now. This is going to happen. And so it was so scary and gross, and my mind thought really quickly, and I had to act like I kind of wanted to do this. So I remember just saying, oh, hey, you give me a second here, let me just kind of get, anyways, and I was able to get away. So I was able to get away, and I'll never forget being so completely scared and realizing just how powerful a man can be when they just have so much more strength, and just what a scary position that is. And it really, quite frankly, worried me for my kids and just for other people, and to think that this happened. And I know that it probably wasn't the first, and it probably wasn't the last that it happened. So I kind of just blocked it out for many, many years. I didn't tell my husband, because he used to hate for me to travel. He didn't like me leaving, and I had to do it for work a lot, and he used to always worry him. And so I was so afraid if I told him that he would, be upset with me or be mad. So I didn't tell him for around 10 years. I just told him about a year ago. So I'm at this event getting ready to go up and speak. And mind you, I've been doing tons of visualization around it, seeing myself, on stage, seeing myself succeed, seeing myself speaking slowly, making an impact, hitting home all the points I wanted to hit. I mean, I've really had a really great practice of seeing myself on stage. Well, about 1 to 2 minutes before I was about ready to go on stage, I'm going to grab a bottle of water, and I turn around, and there's this person. But only my brain at first didn't realize it was him, because mind you, it's been, quite a while. He's gotten a little bit older and grayer. And I was like, "Oh, hi, I know you." He said something to me, and I said, "Oh, hi, I know you." And then I look down at the name, and I see this person's name, and I realize that it is this person. And instantly my body, how it's like when you have that feeling, and sweat started coming over me, and I was anxious, and I was nervous, and I didn't even know really even what to say. And I was like, I just turned around, and I had to go on stage right after that. And I just took a few breaths, went over into the corner, breathed really, really hard, and just visualized myself doing a great job. And then I got on that stage, and I forgot that I'd even seen this man, and I just absolutely crushed it. I did a really, really great job. And why am I telling you this? I'm telling you this because of all of the mental work that I did prior to getting on stage. I was able to just manifest exactly what I had been visualizing and seeing myself doing over, right before that traumatic incident happened. Seeing that person, it really affected me. And then, quite honestly, I got off that stage, and I didn't even think about it again. I ended up telling my husband later on that night, like, "Guys, you're not going to believe this." And I let him know what happened. And he was like, "Wow, I would never have assumed that, because you just did so well on stage." And it was because of my mindset work. It was because of the visualization. It was the preparing mentally for me getting on stage, because I know and believe more than anything else that your thoughts become your reality. And so I want to talk to you about that today. And I just got done doing something called the Agent Power Huddle. In fact, every single day, from 8 to 8:30 a.m., whether you're in real estate or not. This, like today, had nothing to do about real estate. I really try to do a lot of mindset stuff, and a lot of what I teach is not real estate. It's more business, business and entrepreneurial. But today I talked about utilizing the bracelet, right? So I teach my students how to use a bracelet, and to have a bracelet or a rubber band or something stretchy that they can put on their hand. And anytime they have any type of a negative thought, to really recognize that they have a negative thought. Now, mind you, we have 60 to 70,000 negative thoughts a day. Every single day, we think of 60 to 70,000 thoughts in our brain. So naturally, to think that there might be some negative thoughts in there, that there are, right? Whether you're saying something negative about yourself or your body or your friends or your relationship or work or technology or anything, no matter what it is, negative thoughts come into play. So I reminded my students about just how important it is for us to really be the masters of our mind, and that what we say is, right? What we say is, and visualization is a huge, huge part of that. So we are doing an activity where for the next 7 days, and quite frankly, I wish you'd do it for longer, where we put a bracelet on. And I've taught this so many times before, I'm saying it again, but put a bracelet on, and anytime any negative thought comes in your head, that you take the bracelet and you move it to the other wrist, and you restate the negative thought into a positive one. So for example, It might be something like, "Oh my gosh, my kids are just driving me crazy today. They never listen to me." Da da da. And then it's like, "Oh, my kids are being kids and they always listen. I know if I just keep on trying, they're going to hear me." Right? I just restated what I was saying, move the bracelet to the other hand. It might be something like, "Man, business is just so hard. It's not working. I'm not making any traction. It just sucks." No, I am making plenty of traction. I'm moving forward. Business is great. And some of you might be listening to this and be thinking, "Krista, this is corny, and it's you're just being so positive and it doesn't work." Well, that's the thing, is that I always tell people, hey, from foster home to fortunes, if you want to look at me, right? I was in a foster home and a group home and juvenile hall, and now I'm pretty happy in all every way, financially, monetarily, same thing. Within my marriage, could not be happier. We have a great life, but it all stems from my thought process, because what I think, I know that what I think is what I say is. My thoughts become my reality, becomes my life, right? What I think about becomes my actions. What I do, my actions, what I do become my life. So it all starts with what we're thinking about. And I tell you that story because constantly working on my mindset and who I am as a person, and just, really being cognizant of what I'm saying, and the visualization is such a huge, huge part of the reason why I'm successful. I hear people always tell me, "You have so much energy and you're so enthusiastic and you always seem so happy." And really, that's not the truth. I'm just like everyone else. I just choose to focus on being happy and being enthusiastic and being positive, because I know that if I think that way, my thoughts become my life. And it's much, much easier to believe that this type of thing works than to believe that it doesn't, right? So you might be listening to this and you'd be thinking, "Oh, this is a bunch of crap. This doesn't work. Thinking positive, it's overrated." Well, you can keep thinking that, but I think it might serve you better to think otherwise. I think it might serve you better to think and to understand and to know that absolutely your thoughts become your life. Your reticular activating system doesn't know the difference between what you think about and what actually is. That is science, and that's been proven. That's not me saying this. Scientifically, there is so much evidence. If you read Psychocybernetics by Dr. Maxwell Maltz, Psychocybernetics, I always say it wrong. Dr. Maxwell Maltz. It's all about the brain and how our thoughts become a reality, and what we think becomes life, right? And so what happened to me this yesterday was, if I hadn't been working on my mindset, I don't think I would have been able to get up on that stage. I think I would have froze, quite frankly. And then I had to spend the next whole day seeing this person, right? But I just didn't let it affect me. And part of me wanted to just go tell him what a scumbag he was. Like, it took everything I had not to, but I really just chose that, hey, it's been 10 years. I just need to move on. And I was able to get out there and do a really, really good job, because of the fact that I take such good care of my mind and my brain. So what I want you to do, if you're listening to this, is to really start paying attention to what it is that you think about every day, what it is that you say to yourself, what thoughts come into play. Remember, with 60 to 70,000 thoughts a day, there's a lot of them. So we want to have as many positive thoughts as possible. So I have a challenge for you. For the next 7 days, I want you to tell yourself this mantra. In fact, whatever you're doing right now, stop and write down what I think is, right? What I think is, meaning what you think about is your reality. I want you to write that down. Go and get a bracelet, a rubber band, whatever it might be, one that's movable and stretchy that you can move over. And anytime any type of negative thought comes into your brain, I want you to restate it in a positive manner, no matter what it's about, your relationships, your body image, your work, your level of tiredness, how you feel. I just want you to start saying positive things and thinking positive things, because what you think is, it's so, so true. And it really, really, it works. It works. It works. It works. And you don't have to think that it works, but wouldn't it be much better to believe that it does than to believe that it doesn't, and then start implementing this practice and see on my neck here, to see your life just change? So try it for 7 days and watch what you start seeing around you. You're going to start seeing your family be happier. You're going to start seeing your kids notice. You're going to start seeing your partner notice. They're going to notice that you're doing this activity and that you're coming across more positive and happier. And it's like it's a triple effect, right? And we're going to start contributing to the happiness of other people. And remember, contribution equals growth. The more you contribute, the more you grow. The more you grow, the more you can contribute. They go hand in hand. So we want to be able to add, to contribute to the growth of our family, to the growth of those around us, to our loved ones, to our friends, to our associates. It all starts with you, and it all starts with your thoughts. So I'm so thankful that I have been really working on my mind. I have been for years and years and years, but I'm so thankful that this was a big deal. And I didn't want to let down the person that I was there for. I didn't want to let them down. It was their event. They spent a lot of money on it. It's been months and months and months since they asked me to do it. And I'm just so happy that I was able to get up there and perform, even though I had something pretty scary happen right before I was about to go on stage. So just wanted to kind of share that with you. And, on a totally different note, if something like that's ever happened to you, please know it's not your fault, right? No matter what the situation was or where you were at. And thankfully I hadn't been drinking yet. So that was a good thing. I hadn't had any alcohol. I know many times people are blamed for being in the wrong situation or maybe having one or too many cocktails or whatever it might be. But if something like that ever happens to you, it is never, ever your fault. You did nothing wrong. You couldn't have controlled it. There's no ever a right or a reason for any person, whether it's a man or a woman, to ever touch or attack or anyone else at any time. It's never, ever okay. So please know that. And if it did happen to you, I am so, so sorry. I know how traumatic and how scary that can be. And if it did something like that did happen to you, I'm so, so sorry. And just keep trying to be safe. And one thing I will say I regret is I regret not telling anybody back then. I regret not doing something about it back then. And had it gotten to worse, now I know, even now I would go back and prosecute it. Thank goodness I was able to get out of there before it got too serious. But I would go back if something had escalated, and I would absolutely take it to the next level. So my point being is just please don't blame yourself and love yourself and know that no matter what, when those things happen, it's not your fault. And nobody ever has the right to ever touch another human being against their will or their wishes. And that's it, everyone. So thank you so much for spending your time with me and for being here, and really, really practice the bracelet technique and keeping that mindset intact and straight. And I just cannot wait to see you on the next one. And again, your time is valuable, so the fact you're spending it with me just means the world to me. Hey there, I have a brand new podcast called Fired Up with Krista Mashore, where I bring my high energy right to your ears. This podcast is available on all your favorite podcast platforms. So do me a favor, go subscribe and leave a review. All this information is free, and I cannot wait to teach you everything I know. Thanks so much for watching my video. You can learn more about how to be a successful real estate professional by watching other videos that I have. And be sure to subscribe to my channel. And as always, make it a great home selling and buying day.